No $10,000, $100,000, $1 million grant is going to save you. Don't get it twisted. I have never rocked your head to bed. Those of you who have been watching my previous videos know. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Click the subscribe button, click the bell notification to stay on top of every financial and educational resource that I encounter, that I share with our community, the Rod Squad, absolutely for free. I do not charge you a dime for you to make something out of yourself on this rock, most specifically in this country, the Mecca of capitalism. Happy belated Independence Day, by the way, to my people. You know, I prioritize you. I keep you set in my heart for you to make something of yourself in this country or anywhere else in this universe. You have to execute the act of selling something. Then financial institutions, government agencies will classify your activity as operating a small business. You are now in the game, and thus you are instrumental in the global and American financial infrastructure by delivering value in a marketplace to customers and clients who are making a positive contribution to society. And now it is critical for your business survival for you to thrive, because you are not only responsible for your livelihood and the livelihood of your loved ones and the people that the true and living God or whatever supreme being in which you believe has assigned to you, for whom you beg comprehension in your heart to serve as much as possible, but you are also responsible for the livelihood and success and sustainability of the people in your employ, the people in your vendors' employ, the people with whom you are partnered. You are now in the game. Everybody has an interest to keep you alive, surviving, and thriving, which is why it is so beautiful, regardless of whether you were born with a diamond blunt in your mouth or you did not have a trust fund in your name in the wound. Becoming an entrepreneur is the ultimate equalizer, but I have never said that you do it with the sole objective of qualifying for grants, for credit, for loans, etc. Of course, being that you are now an instrumental part in the global economy, all these financial institutions, government agencies will have these safety nets available to you in the event you encounter a pandemic or some other form of hardship, and thus you will have these extra resources that you can tap to keep you alive to these times, to keep the people in your employ surviving and thriving during these hard times. But I have always said, keep the ultimate objective in enjoying from the profits, from the margins of you delivering that value to customers, making that contribution, helping thy neighbor, and thus transacting financially where everyone can enjoy of that. And thus, you will be fulfilling the true and living God's plan and commandment to love thy neighbor, because if you love thy neighbor, you love him, you love that supreme being. We are all in this together. Everyone operates as one, whether you like it or not. The only way that I have been able to make anything out of myself, to succeed in anything, to be able to work with the AOL organization, the Nielsen Company, the 2012 Barack Obama presidential campaign, the United States Department of Defense, and every other iconic brand with whom I have operated on this planet, coming from nothing, from Jamaica, Queens, New York, the theater of war for the deadliest crack war known to man, is by taking a look at that person in the mirror and enhancing that person through self-education. I not only picked up technical ability from studying in New York University, working hard to get a scholarship to attend that university. Yes, it wasn't a waste of time for me. For some people, nonetheless, it is not enough. For me, it was not enough. However, they did leave some clues where I took some information from a directory that Dean of Columbia University, he was the tech reporter for ABC 7 News at the time, left with us in one of my broadcast journalism classes, and learned everything about a computer and became a help desk technician after studying until 4 in the morning and passing a test And that gave me the technological proficiency to adopt these additional skills, the prowess to be able to drive traffic through search engine optimization, then learning social media marketing. And I learned it through the same types of resources that I list on our spreadsheet. We can find links to information resources, application portals to grants, and other financial resources and ways for you to educate yourself through the most powerful tab on the spreadsheet. We probably can't even count the amount of times that I've said that on this channel, the free education tab, because it lists links to blogs, to videos, to all kinds of resources that show you exactly what it is that you have to learn so you can become anything you want to be in this lifetime. You want to learn how to code in Python, want to become a cybersecurity professional, but many of you do not visit that tab. You're always looking for the grants. I want that quote free money, where you're paying for that quote free money with your time. As a matter of fact, people who are in the game of grant writing and make a living off of this stuff on the regular, I've told you time and time again, I don't make a living off of winning grants. I won the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, helped fund millions of dollars in grants to the Paycheck Protection Program. Nonetheless, I'm an internet marketer. That is how I have made my bones. Search engine optimization, social media marketing. People who are in this, they are successful at grant writing by only applying for grants where the grant stakeholders award at least 20% of the applicants. Remember that, 20% of the applicants. I've said it time and time again on this channel that if you have any questions, instead of verbally vomiting in the comments section and asking me questions, contact the brand stakeholders and find out what percentage of the applicants they actually award. What are they looking for in a winning submission? Ask them the questions. They'll tell you, go ahead and apply. Don't let me stop you and say that you don't qualify. Don't let Vlogger XYZ stop you from saying that you qualify. Go to the brand stakeholders. Let them tell you no, if they're going to tell you no, or let them tell you how you need to craft your submission in the best way possible. Of course, I'll tell you how I'm going to apply. I've released the scrap note spreadsheet where you can see the responses that I have structured and the way I've done it, but go ahead and find out. In fact, one of the key ways that people are successful in applying for grants is they partner with a nonprofit. So you go with a nonprofit, and let's say that organization has a fundraising drive to release magazines, t-shirts, swag, and they don't have the ability to manufacture that stuff or deliver it in some shape, form, or fashion. You do nonetheless. You part of them say, listen, I'll take on the work and we'll stipulate in the agreement, you get 20% and we get 70% after all of the costs of ensuring that we get all the material put together. You work it out amongst yourselves, not financial advice, simply what I see people doing in the business. And you have all of these funding opportunities to apply for grants that are available for nonprofits, because they don't want to give for-profits, because you need to be out there selling something, proving yourself to the marketplace. And how do you do that? You enhance your skills. Visit bit.ly/Neil Rod, where you can adopt these technical abilities. That's how I have been able to do anything become financially free, is by enhancing my skills, taking a look at that person in the mirror and saying, what can I build upon that? What am I going to store right here in this noggin that will give me the ability to provide value in the marketplace and thus get paid more? How do I provide value? And you always have to think about, when I was in the hood, people always like, the only way you can get a good job is by having a hookup. So once I started to adopt a winning mindset, I said, how do I get the hookup? You approach any networking situation asking yourself, how can I help this person? How can I put money into this connection's pocket? That is exactly how I approach my strategy to write for iconic magazines such as Forbes, the Huffington Post, Adweek. When I got out of NYU, I said, I'm going to become a writer. So the traditional way was to send out pitches via email. I did that for a couple of weeks until 4 a.m. None of them worked. Got a response from the New Yorker. They mailed me a letter reading that my story was not for them. This is the same story that helped me get a scholarship into New York University. It said, this is not for us. However, once I learned how to market on the web after adopting technological proficiency, becoming a help desk technician for ISPs in the southern states and in New York and Woodbury, New York, Cablevision to be specific, same owners of the New York Knicks and Madison Square Garden, then I was able to sell my technical ability. How did I do it? I had the same mindset. What can I do for you? Repetitively and pensively asking myself, what can I do for you when I meet somebody? So, one quick way, I'll go ahead and let you know how you can potentially do that right now. I learned how to market magazines on social networks, on social news aggregators. At the time, Digg.com, Reddit.com, they dominated. Whatever went viral on those platforms went viral everywhere else. They got thousands of Facebook likes, millions of unique visitors would welcome those platforms, and thus I drove millions of unique visitors to iconic magazines such as Adweek, making them millions of dollars in a matter of weeks. So I would drive traffic using Digg and Reddit to Forbes, and I was basically putting money into Steve Forbes' pockets, enough to pay for yoga classes and stretch therapy on a private jet somewhere. And that is how I stood out and distinguished myself from the thousands of people who were sending pitches to magazines such as Forbes to write for them. And I got a byline, right on Forbes. Working together, getting people what they want. You can still do that on Reddit. Let's say you want to get publicity on a particular magazine. You want to get to know a key stakeholder, an editor. You visit a subreddit or category on Reddit relevant to the niche that the magazine covers, and then you study what makes the top section. Just go to the top section of that Reddit category and then submit content from that magazine that is just like the content that makes the top section of that subreddit. Once you get good enough to start submitting articles or other forms of media on that magazine that will attract viral exposure on a platform on Reddit, and then there'll be a domino effect that attracts viral exposure on other platforms, then just write an email to the editor or writer saying that you're responsible for all that traffic that is registering on that writer's analytics platform. Bang! You've just generated money for that magazine. You think they're not going to listen to you? You don't think that they want to make a friend just like that? That same technique not only got me a byline on Forbes, on the Huffington Post, and other mainstream platforms, but it saved me from potential jail time after speeding in one of the southern states. I'll tell you more about that. If you want to hear about it, let me know in the comments section below. If Reddit or driving traffic's not your thing, get a prospect for a potential friend, someone that can help you do something, help them do something. Who's going to help them move their business forward or help them get a new job where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars? Help people get what they want, and you will get whatever it is that you want to be, whatever you want to be.